All right, apparently we are live. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step
Oh,
to.
it's been a long time, but we're getting the band back together, cranking it up to 11. That's what we're
That's
doing.
right. That's right. It is me, right time Kenderdine, of course, along with Alan. How have you been, Alan? How's lockdown treating you?
How is lockdown? How is well? I mean, we're going to go for a deep dive in how things have been treating us over the last 2 years. Where I mean, essentially our I don't know. Maybe this sounds a little bit too over the top, but I think it's particularly for me. I mean, and for you, our lives pretty much changed 2 years ago. And yeah, no, maybe that's not hyperbole at all. That's very true. But yeah, let's focus. Hey,
Hey,
Manu,
Manu.
good to see you. One of our number one of our top fans, if not number one. I suppose Kale is our number one fan now. Manu's like just behind there. But all right, so lockdown has been treating us well. The whole LSS team obviously is working at the moment from home best we can. Hey Stephen, good to
Hey,
see you, another
Stephen.
top fan. Um,
Hey,
so
Brett as well.
we're all working from home, doing what we can. Fortunately, I have a nice little setup here where you see, but we're in the Hale family lounge here. Sorry for the lighting in the background, but it is what it is. Ian's much better lit, to be honest with you. Probably Ian. I think personally the biggest hardship, because actually, to be honest, this lockdown is not a hardship. But if I was to be a whiner and a complainer, my biggest problem with this lockdown is I would kill someone for a coffee. Not any of my immediate family members. Like basically, what I'm saying here is I need coffee, Ian. I need you to make me coffee. If you don't know,
Yeah.
Ian supplies us with coffee at work, and I need some coffee.
Well, as soon as we get into level 3, hopefully we can sort something out. Obviously, I can't trade at level 4, so I haven't been doing that. So, but what we're really here about is not about lockdown, even though for a big part of the 2 years that we're celebrating, we've been in lockdown. But yeah, it's been 2 years. This is what we're here to celebrate. Is that 2 years ago we had the very first world premiere of Flesh and Blood. And what a weekend it was, Alan. Can you you were working for the company back then, correct?
Yeah, well, let's start a little bit at the beginning. I actually remember because I was working outside the card industry. Not that I wasn't still kind of involved in cards, but I was working for Time Zone in New Zealand. I was managing their factory essentially, and building spaces, building video games. And I do remember walking up the stairs at Hobby Master, wherever it was going to be, and I did actually see the flyers and the posters, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I was like, oh, I'm sure I'll see it on Facebook or something like that, and catch up with it. So I can't remember how far that was out, but obviously sometime after that, James gave me a call out of the blue, and I hadn't been in contact with James for a while. I had, kind of been in contact with him when he was running Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and being a distributor in New Zealand. And yeah, James talked to me about the game and a role in OP for the company. And he'd kind of made an offer of a job, and we had a chat and went in. And I actually, I must have been one of the first people, maybe outside of the studio. Maybe there was others, but one of the first people to get a hold of an IRA deck. Me and James played a couple of games over lunchtime on a Saturday because I said to James, I can't take the job unless the game's good. You kind of trust James, but you have to confirm that. So played some games, made the switch. So I'd only been with the company for a month, so this is one of the first events we were organizing it. So it was a big thing. It was essentially our coming out. Word hadn't spread around the world at that thing. I think some people knew about it and obviously knew James, but yeah, it was a pretty big thing to go smoothly at that event. How did you hear about it, Ian?
So I was it's interesting. So December 2018 actually. For anyone who's known me for a number of years knows that we have me and my friend group, we have a tradition of getting together on Christmas Eve for drinks. Down in Newmarket at the Clatter, and we've been doing that for roughly about 20 years. At that stage, James had come along a couple of times throughout the years to those Christmas Eve drinks, and I hadn't seen James probably for maybe 2 or 3 years prior to him showing up Christmas Eve 2018. He had with him a playmat and a card for me. It was, of course, one of those slingshot playmats that have been infamously shown around the world. And an artist proof of Iron Rot Helm I got with a little handwritten note. And so I was like, oh, wow. So he sort of gave me a really brief explanation of the game and stuff, but obviously not giving away too many details back then. And so it was on my radar from then. And then, of course, I saw the flyers at Hobby Master. I think at the time, I think I was still... I wasn't really playing a lot of cards back then. I think I was still playing a little bit of... I was playing more board games at the time, and probably a little bit still of Arkham Horror living card game. I think the last card game that I tried to sort of play was the L5R living card game, and it just never really picked up here. So I'd almost been out of card games. Well, definitely out of a trading card game for many years. But of course, as like yourself, we've both known James for a number of years through the card industry. So I was always going to come along to this event no matter what. Very keen just to support, my friends when they do something cool. And it's just, blown up since then. And of course, we got to play with our girl at the event.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And in a way, I was thinking, I'm a little jealous, Ian, because obviously working for the company is great, but I'm just imagining what it would have been like if I, hadn't known anything about it. James had found somebody else for OP, and would have been like, because it was cool. There were so many people there. It was like 120 players in the end, and there was also the very first card previews, because we had the lore book up there, and what was there, like Iron Rot Helm. Was there Disable?
There was like a combo piece for Ninja as well, but no one knew what combo meant. I think, or maybe it was Master Momentum.
Actually, I'll check for photos, because there's actually photos up. There's actually a great video, obviously, as well. If you find that section on the website, I'm just going to go back and let's go back in time. There's some cool photos. There's let's have a look at the event highlights. I won't play the event highlights, so we'll blow the speakers. But there's some great photos here. Like, I'm looking, one of the first photos, I can see a whole bunch of people. I can see you clapping, Ian. If you go to look up event coverage World Premiere 2019. It's under the organized play section.
Can you share that on your screen?
Maybe. Hold on. Let's see if I can do that. Share.
No, it was an interesting. And for those who don't know, of course, the World Premiere. This was before Welcome to Wrath came out, so we literally just had. Welcome to. We just had Ira decks. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, so this photo is fascinating, because I see you there. You're sitting right beside Matt Rogers. There's Regan. You might see in the background. There's Cindy. There's oh God, what's the name? Gonna have my name. There's Cece. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I won't mention who that is. There's Chris. One of the Chris's. We scroll down there. There's me in my Legend Story shirt. And who else we got there? There's Kale and Saw. Regan looking metal as F, we could say. Who else? Obviously, who else we got here in the pictures? Yeah, so many people. And we've got the judge team. Actually, I should mention we will hopefully have Kale as a guest on the cast a little bit later. Kale's agreed to come share his memories as long as his phone/PC works. Oh, look, here's a man here. It's you might see just behind my head. There's Sam Smith of Fab Armory. Certainly, like us, his life has been changed. There's the judge team, and of course, there's hometown boy Wenway right there. So Wenway, looking staunch here, will also be coming on the cast as long as his computer/phone is working tonight. And of course, we get down to the top 8. So it's a bit of a star-studded top 8. You've got Darren Ying, who's been around, car games for such a long time. You've got, I suppose the GOAT, Matt Rogers, in there, and his very first Fab top 8. And of course, behind here, looking ever so serious, is you have one of the finalists and our final guest star, Luke Badger. Luke would go on to meet Bowden in the finals and prevail.
Nice.
Yeah. As you can see, look at the background there. You can see there's the initial advertising book. There's so people knew who the heroes were as of that day.
Yes.
Because you can see the cat. I don't know.
I think we had the deck boxes, but we didn't know what the heroes did as of yet. And and I think one of the reasons we had the deck boxes there was if you went, I believe it was 7 rounds, and if you went, was it 6 rounds or 7 rounds?
No, I think it was 7 rounds. I think it was, if you went 4-3, we would send you out a hero deck, which actually leads to a very funny story. So obviously, we were, Welcome to Rafe didn't get a proper spoiler season as such. So what happened is so the first people are going to see stuff were the people that went 4-3. So we packaged them together and we started sending them out. And I think we were thinking, what day do we send them? Take couriers a day or two to get them out anyway. But one of the 4-3 people was Amol Singh, who is the manager at Vagabonds in the City. Has been with Vagabonds for a million years. I assume since birth. I assume he started when he had just been born. But Amol had a deal with his couriers, because he does a lot of courier stuff, and his courier just saw the package at the depot or something like that, and just grabbed it to take it to Amol, to Vagabonds in the City. So basically, we sent it that morning, and Amol actually got the hero decks that day, because somebody else had organized for their package to be sent to Vagabonds in the City. So we were like, suddenly Amol is splashing up on Facebook that, he's playing the very first game with Bravo at Vagabond Central. And we were like, so, best laid plans. We were like, it's fine, give it a couple of days. But there's Amol that afternoon playing with it. And that was kind of cool because it was would have been the very first game of Fab, Classic Constructed, and of Fab anywhere in the world. I think whoever this person is, it was Amol and Nibo. Sorry, I'm not sure of the pronunciation of the name. Sure. But it was a bit unexpected, and it was just something cool.
Kale, I remember that cold foil Hope Merchant's hood looked so good. Blew my mind back then. Yeah, well, that's right. Because of course the Iridex don't have equipment with them, so we hadn't yet fully played the game, and what we know now, we were still a while off fully playing the game. But anyway, we have got. I was about to say we've got our first guest, but he's just disappeared out of. He was here and now he's gone.
Oh, he'll. I'm sure he'll come back. But and also Kale. It was. I'm sure it was disabled. There was a crush card, up on display as well. So I mean that was a fairly big hint. But it was pretty cool. And you got to see the law book as well. You got to see the classic playmat.
Here we are. Here we go.
I had to realign myself.
Oh. Let me just. Wenway, how are you?
Give Wenway his full due. He's too tiny. Make him big.
There we are.
All right, close enough. That's close enough. So his mum does not think he's cool. That should lead into a good your mum joke, but I'm not gonna dignify Winway over your mum joke.
Goodbye. I'm done now.
We were just, I don't know if you saw, we were just going back over the photos. You know, you're the you were one of the first fab. You were the first fab judge, Winway.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So
unfortunately, Newsom fucked it up.
Yep, true. But that's we still have Newsom. We still have Newsom. So if anybody watching doesn't know,
he's employed, right?
Yeah. So if anybody is watching the stream doesn't know who Winway is obviously the creator and owner of the, well, I suppose owner, is that phrase for it, of the Flesh and Blood fan page, which I got invited to because I only knew Winway through, and not that well, besides the fact that, you know, he wouldn't stop touching me, for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Whoa.
You wouldn't,
That's
everyone.
bad
You're like, oh, I'm like, I just want to run a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament here at the store, and you're like, just, you know. Turn it down, Winway.
And Nick Tung also sold my judgment. Remember that?
Oh, well, good. Oh, yeah. Well, good take, but you clearly deserved it. I'm not going to make any comment. You clearly deserved it, Winway. There's good reason. But yeah, you'd already started that off, and then you actually, you're judging the first event. So yeah. Tell us about, real simple, your journey up to the premiere event.
Like, it was pretty cool. Like, I was invited to a pre-showing before IRA. Before the IRA fucking what's it called? That premiere with IRA.
Yeah.
So I was invited out, I think around mid-August to go see the studio when I was still in Newmarket. And go to jam a few games, play a few games. And after that, I just really enjoyed it because coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, I actually had most of my cards stolen at a YCS in Sydney. And so I wasn't planning on getting back into playing competitive TCGs again, just because of the value of the cards that I lost was like, back then was like $2-3 grand, but if we use today's currency, it's like well over 20 grand worth of cards.
Yeah.
Which is still cheaper than the heart, by the way.
But so it's pretty heartbreaking to lose that.
I've seen your fab folder. I feel like you've maybe made that money back now.
Yeah.
But, I mean it's a big thing to lose your collection. Like, it's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't even me that lost it. It was Timmy Chu, big Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Like, really. He actually won the first Duel Links World Championships when he went for that one. Yeah, some guy in Australia, Game Corner Sydney Central, went into his bag and stole a box. I haven't seen the box he bought off me.
That sucks, man. That does suck.
They don't have cameras, by the way.
Anyway, back to the IRA event. What do you remember on the day of the event? Obviously, it was a brand new game to everyone there. How was judging it? Because it was over 120 people, and there was only 3 of you guys.
It was actually one of the easiest events I ever judged, because I think the most judge calls we had were in the first 2 rounds, where people knew what they were doing. After everyone understood what they were doing, because it was the same over and over again, right? Yeah. And so it was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing now. So you don't need a judge.
You don't get a second action off Edge of Autumn. It's just go again. Stuff like that.
And just like stuff like Miss Blossom has to be second in the chain. You can log and press it. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
I still occasionally get nightmares of being in that old Newmarket studio and Jason being like, all right, we're going to play some IRA, and just Jason relentlessly beating me with IRA, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Jason's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. You just have to get good. Didn't happen. But yeah, there was a lot of IRA, and it's crazy to think now IRA was like our welcome deck, and then IRA's had a completely new life outside of being a welcome deck.
It was the
Crucible.
Top-rated Blitz deck during Blitz format, right?
Yeah. I
definitely.
mean, and that's the thing. It was like back when this was made, IRA was never supposed to be into any competitive format. She was just supposed to be the learn to play deck. Because I'm pretty sure that Blitz hadn't been thought of initially. At least when this World's event had happened. So So yeah, no, it is interesting that over the 2 years, Ira has gone from just being the gateway into the game to being the meta for one format, possibly
Yeah.
two
So-
if you consider how good she is in Ultimate Pit Fight.
Yeah, but like I actually really enjoyed our format just because I really enjoyed playing Pummel. And like no one like I remember I was versing Regan, right? He's on 11 health. I just could actually pummel, could actually CNC them. He's like, okay, it's fine. I'll lose my arsenal. At least I'm still on 4. And I showed him pummel. He just walked away. Didn't want to talk to me for the rest of the day. He just walked off.
Great story, Winway. Great bullying. Great card bullying there. That's truly a great story.
I mean,
but yeah,
it's his fault, right? It's not my fault. Man, I have pummel.
Sure. But yeah, it was a long day. I remember. I'm trying to remember what time we finished. By the time the top 8, and did I have a feeling?
I was like, we went to dinner afterwards, didn't we?
There was a mighty dinner. But I'm just thinking about back the day. There's so many people
it wasn't a
there that
it was definitely not a calling link today.
Yeah. No, I think we left at like 8, right?
Oh, maybe a bit later. I mean, it was pretty good. I always think back to all the people that were there, and like some people that kind of like have become good friends over time, or like people like Chris P was there. I didn't really know Chris P.
Yeah,
back then, or like there. Sasha and Mimi, like were there.
Mimi, yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't really know them. They were at the dinner, but they were on a different table, and I didn't really get a chance. Yeah, but Sasha turned out to be like key people. Even like Kale. I only kind of knew Kale from Magic. Yeah, well, Regan.
Rogers.
No, we don't know Rogers.
Oh, Rogers was like a mortal enemy of the Yu-Gi-Oh community back in the day. Like everyone in the community used to hate Rogers. Because they thought he was behind the whole entire mastermind, the mastermind behind Yu-Gi-Oh thing was going down, right? So everyone hated Rogers, and then like realized he had nothing to do with it. So like, oh yeah, he's pretty cool now.
All right, enough digging the dirt on our goat, as it were.
No, but we are gonna introduce another person in now. I don't know if we go to 4 people. So if I cut you off, I apologize. But
because you're racist.
Yeah,
possibly. But let me see what happens when I add. Oh, 4 people! Look at that, Luke. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for having
me. So I don't know if you've been hearing us, drone on about reminiscing about 2 years ago. Like it was the greatest time. Was it the greatest time in our lives? The greatest generation.
It was Luke's greatest day playing bad because he was at the top.
I was about to say, we needed to have the John Cena theme because the champ is here. Luke.
Yeah. Hey, nothing will take away from Luke that he was the first Fab champion of all time, and in 100 years' time, when Wig didn't go on, the company's still going, people will still look at those photos of Luke with reverence and go, "What was that man like? What was he like?" Unless you're still going to be alive.
Not very good at cards.
you already it doesn't matter. You're first to the top of the mountain. No one can take that away from you.
Good enough on the day.
I would so gladly make that trade as well. If you had said to me, you can win this event and win no more, I just would have signed on the dotted line in a second.
I'm pretty sure that's what he did. I'm pretty sure that's what happened because he didn't want any other event afterwards. So I'm pretty sure.
No, not even close.
Well, so, I mean, to be fair, Luke, that's because you have embraced the brute life, and the brute life is not a winning life, but it is an enjoyable life.
You did make one of my favorite decks for a while when it was still Welcome to Wraith. The no brute, as I like to call it. That was my go-to deck for a while, and I don't care. It was so much fun.
I'm glad
it was a lot of fun. We played the mirror. Did we not play the mirror once?
We did. Yeah, it was a close one too, I think.
Yeah. So well, as close as you get with me, like it's still like that distance from that. But all right, Luke. So you wake up on that morning, and you pack your geek stuff. You're walking out the door. Tell us about your day at the premiere.
Yes, I was really pumped for it. I was really excited, and my mate Andy had come up from Hamilton. He was staying the night at my place, and the night before, because we got introduced to the game a couple of days before, we got to just jam a couple of games. So we got like 24 hours of crunching in, and he was destroying me the night before. He won like 7 games in a row. Then we got up and played the next morning, and I won 6 games in a row. For some reason, he just couldn't beat me. It was kind of really weird. And we said, look, hey, let's agree that we'll just. There was only one prize, right? First place, $1,000. That was it. But we said, let's split. Yeah, let's split. Okay, we'll split regardless of what happens. And we got there early, and then like milling around, and went and found like some snack or something, and then we were just into it. We were so pumped and excited, and it was just filling up, very busy, and it was a really positive vibe. And then Nick and James sort of did the welcome thing, and everyone got their nice play mats, and it was they were so good.
That torrent of tempo playmat, yeah, beautiful.
So tasty. There was a couple of people one guy like signed up and then picked up his mat and left because he couldn't play, but he just wanted to sign it for the mat. I was just like, oh, that was pretty grim, but he probably did well out of that. Yeah, and as they read out the pairings, I was a bit nervous.
It was Wilson Yip.
It may have been more than one person. Yeah, I'm not sure that's what I thought it was. But yeah, there's a couple of young fellas doing it. Yeah, and I think my first table was table 54, and I was sitting right down the far end and looking up at everyone else. And I've never really done well, and I've played other card games, but I've never done well and never won an event that size. So I was thinking I'll just have a bit of fun and see how we go. But game 1 got a pretty comfortable win. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good. And then after that, it was just cruising all the way through some pretty close games, as you'd expect with Ira.
Did you find that those first few rounds? Because I went 4-3 to get my starter, and I did find that in those first couple of rounds, there was a bit of an inclination of playing people who had never played the deck before. So it was more teaching than necessarily playing the game.
Sometimes it was, like explaining chain links and whirling mist blossom, having to hit previously and that sort of thing. But it was also good because I was still learning throughout the day. Like before we sat down, my rule was never put flying kick in Arsenal. That's just terrible because once you get behind, you can never get it out. I was like, that's so bad. But I was getting so far ahead that it was just like, yep, just Arsenal, that bad boy. And then it's like, grow, come over the top, So it was kind of interesting to just discover more things about the deck and the game system.
Yeah.
While just
do you remember how many rounds was it? Was it 7 rounds?
It was 7 rounds. Yeah.
Did you face anyone? Does anyone that you remember facing in the Swiss rounds that's still around? That's playing today.
Yes. I faced Matt Rogers. We were both 6-0, and I crushed him. I finished on 21, and then he was not 21. It was pretty close, but I beat him, which was good. I had no idea who he was. I was just like, oh, hey, you're a person who plays cards. I'm a person who plays cards. I guess this is going to be close. So I beat him, and then I lost the last round. I can't remember the guys. I haven't actually seen him around since.
Was a little kid or the Asian guy?
Nah, that young kid who made. No, I didn't get to play the young kid who made top 8. He was really good. Some guy from America, possibly, but he made top 8, and then I got to play him again in top 8, and I was very, very close, and it was like he was now on 1, so he's having to block every attack, and I went head jab, pitch for 1. And he was like, okay, I'm dead. It was like,
those blue head jabs.
It was head jab, pitch, and attack for 4 or something, right, from Arsenal.
Yeah.
It was like torrent of tempo, and he literally couldn't block it. I was like, I had to have the triple head jab to win that one or something. It was kind of funny. But yes, I played Matt, played Bodum in the final.
Oh, that was Jeremy Hines. That's who you versed.
Yeah, I played Jeremy a bit earlier. Yeah, he's a different guy from America to the one I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, the top 8 was Kian Monaghan, Matt Rogers, Jeremy Hines, Bowden Temick, Darren Ying, Connor Bryson, Asher Baker, and of course you, Luke. That was the top 8 players.
I think
from the event.
I think the first name you read might have been the guy who went 7-0.
Kian. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it is a little bit fuzzy as to. But I do remember you and Bowden in the finals. It was it had been a long day by that time.
I just remember playing like this. And I didn't feel nervous. I felt chill, but my arms didn't know. My arms thought I was freaking out, and so it was really weird and really awkward. But it was actually the two of the least close games of the day. He won the die roll, chose to go first both times, and they weren't particularly close.
Right.
Or at least I don't remember them feel. I don't remember. I remember thinking, I might actually win this whole damn thing. It's kind of funny. But at the top eight, all the guys are like, "Oh, hey, you guys want to split? Should we split?" And 7 people, or maybe 6 or 7, like, "Yeah, sounds good." I was like, "No, what are you talking about? You don't split $1,000 in the top eight. You got to play for it. What do you got? What's wrong with you people?" And they're like, "Okay, so not splitting." Anyway, and then in the top eight, Bowden asked again, "Do I want to split?" He said, "I know you said no," and I said, "No, that's cool." And Andy had said, "Yeah, let's just split," because he'd flown from Australia, and I was like, "That's a pretty epic effort." And hey, there's no guarantee I'll win. I'm happy to split there. So he got the 500 and Andy and I got 250 each. But it was not a bad day. We were very happy.
That's and you were out for the whole day from the wife. I remember you were saying, you had to make money to keep her happy. If you didn't make money, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I said, "Don't worry, darling. It's $1,000 first place, so I'll come home with some cash." So yeah. No, it is a real cost.
Did you have to explain that when you came home and said you won, but you only had $250 cash? Did you have to explain that to her as well?
Yeah, I did. And wives don't tend to understand like splitting. Yeah, they're like, "But you won. You could have got the whole thing." Yeah, I understand. I know, darling, but maybe I would. What if I hadn't won? Then I would have. But you won. Yeah, so it's kind of fine. But no, it was all good, and it is a big deal to be away all day. At that time, my youngest was 2 and my oldest was 5. So it's it's a whole family commitment just to get along to a day of cards. But yeah, definitely a day I'll remember with fondness, and a day I got to meet a whole bunch of new people, and a day I got to win the very first tournament. So yeah, it's I'll always be very happy about that.
Yeah, it's a monument. Yeah, we need to we should put a little picture up at you, a little picture of you up in work, in the office sometime. But we do have copies of of Regicide, on the display cabinet. So just if anybody's watching, it will just let's Luke is a game designer himself, and Regicide went really well on Kickstarter. Is there I know you've just had the app come out a little while ago. Is there anything else on the horizon, Luke?
And the app is going very well to play the game. If you want to learn more about it, just go to boardgamegeek.com and scroll to number 1 on the hotness, because that's where you'll find it, top of the list right now. So 7 days up there, which has been quite fun. Yeah, and you can play it at home with a standard deck of cards, so it's really cool.
No,
and it's been fun to pull out when Jim has crashed at a few events. So it's good to have in the back pocket.
I'm sure. do not mention that, please. All right. All right.
It will be a sad event without a crash from Jim,
God.
It's my friend Jim. When she's dropping off my lunch, she's such a bad driver; she'll often crash on the way. So
that's exactly what I knew.
Exactly
what you're referring to.
They go and check on her, make sure she's okay.
That sounds truly outrageous.
She's getting outrageous. She's getting better and stronger. It's all of a Misfits' fault, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate the synergy in that joke.
I watched a lot of Jim as a kid. Jim was cool. The Misfits were cool.
I was about to say we have aged the ourselves on this podcast with all those references.
I don't know. I think
he's just looking at us blankly. He's like, has no idea.
I think the white of my beard, Ian's. We don't know your age anymore, Ian, since you dyed your hair. But the white of my beard, and the two children here have definitely aged me in a good way. Hey, so do we have our other guest available? We have one more guest. We'll have to see. Is Kale? Are you out there, Kale?
Probably out on a piss.
No, he was watching. We felt like Luke was. Well, first of all, we had to get the band back together. Luke was obviously who we wanted on the stream, and Wenway as one of the judges for the events that we were in contact with, and Kale because he was like the man on the ground. He was somebody coming again from like from a Magic background. And one of the things is I didn't really know Kale that well. at that point, and I think Cale's become, I'd say he's a good friend through Fab. Let's see, Ian's going to see if we can track him
Definitely.
down. He was hoping he could do it on
I
his
just
phone.
told him to jump on. Let's see.
Now, if it kicks one of us off, who knows? It could. Oh, here we go.
No, we're all here. Hey,
Hey,
Cal.
hey. I've beaten you once.
It must have been a long time ago. I don't remember it.
So, if anybody's watching this cast and doesn't know who Kale is, this is Kale, first player to 1K, master of the Hammer, and also when you turned up that day, you were a Magic player, or I don't know if you've given up on Magic at that point. So yeah, tell us about you, Fab, and the premiere day.
Yeah, look, I was a Magic player. I'd been given a 12-month ban, which was actually for the wrong reason. So that got fixed up, and it's like as I got unbanned, it just happened to be timing that Fab was released. So we decided to take a look at the game after finding out who'd made it, and yeah, it just became a bit of a blur. Turned up for the learn to play, and then just all of a sudden, I'm grinding 3 or 4 nights a week, and just everything. It was crazy. Like, had no expectations for the game. Just thinking, small Kiwi company. Turned up, and 120 people. It just, it was bigger than any Magic event I'd played. So, just kind of kept rolling with it, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
So, what was like when you first got some games in the event? What was how did you feel? What stood out to you when you first cracked that IRA pack?
Initially, I was quite surprised with the momentum system of the game. I thought it was quite unique. The fact that you've got to give up tempo to keep life, but then you can give up life to keep tempo, and you just got to find that right balance. It just, it really surprised me. But I could tell back then that you had to take damage, set up, and push. But the true extent of what happens with that, you can be playing the game for 6 months or a year and still not quite get it right. It's really quite surprising.
The whole block, when to block, over blocking, not blocking is one of those big learning curves when you first step into the game, right?
Yeah, well, I definitely thought, sitting down to play a game with a starter deck or something, I thought would be really simple. You look at other games and starter decks are real basic level, but just a starter deck base level for Fab was just higher than competitive Magic. It really, just surprised me. So I wanted to be better, and didn't do as well as Luke on the day, or for the next couple of weeks after. Still didn't do as well, but it's
those are the golden days, Kale.
Yeah, well, I mean, because that's the other thing, right? Is that post the world premiere, before October 11th, when the official launch happened, that's what we were playing, right? I mean, I remember all three of us being over at West City playing IRA events, and being in several different places playing IRA events, just because that's all we had, and just jamming decks and just trying to get reps in.
Yeah, no, it was definitely it was eye-opening, to be honest. I think I won the first winner starter deck event, didn't I? Before the premiere.
On the Friday night?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Typical
I'm
case.
just trying to remember.
I think the day before.
Yeah. Did you know Bravo was going to be your man forever?
Yes.
James told me the day of the premiere that there was a control deck, and pointed out the Guardian class, but he also pointed out the the Warrior class. So I was tossing up between the two. It's only really when I seen the disable in the display case that it, the ability to destroy the arsenal, I already knew then was a powerful effect. I mean, given that my career in demolition, where I've had to take a sledgehammer to a few walls, it was pretty made up for me at that point.
Live action roleplay.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was saying before, and it's very much, I don't know if you agree. I don't think it's hyperbole or over the top, but Fab has obviously changed my life. It's significantly changed Ian's life. I mean, how do you feel? Because I certainly think Fab's had a big effect on you. Fab's had a huge effect on my life.
Oh, I mean, put it this way: up until 2 years ago, the only time I'd been on TV or the internet was Please Stand 7. So, the fact I'm on a podcast, but outside of that, like, you just look like, I've been to, Australia for the calling. I've been all up and down the country with people that I probably never would have taken road trips with. It's just, everyone knows about what's happened with me and my old man the last 12 months or so. Like, the support that I've had through all that, it just wouldn't have happened if I was playing any other game. So, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I didn't really know you that well. I mean, I think I remember playing a modern event against you. We were kind of playing the Jeskai Splinter Twin Mirror, when she schooled me. Oh, you're playing Jeskai and I was playing Red Blue and stuff like that. But we didn't really know each other that well. But no, I'm very, one of the things is, I'm very happy to know you reasonably, to count you as a friend, now. Whereas, before that, I didn't, but we've had some good road trips down to Palmy. Dinner in the Chinese restaurant, and you grabbing, what'd you grab? Like that bottle of absinthe and
Poor Carol.
Shots for everybody. And was it? Did you? Was it Matt Rogers running your battery dry on your ute after he took you out for McDonald's at 4 a.m. or something like that?
Yeah.
Just like I know. Actually, what goes on tour should stay on tour. But these are some fun times.
Well, considering he wanted to drive because he thought I was intoxicated and he can't tell that the lights are on. Like, come on.
trying to tow your ute round with the rented van that afternoon was some good times. Those are some good times. Yeah, but I think all of us. I didn't know Wenway that well. Me and Ian, for example, hadn't been in touch. We hadn't been touched for a number of years. And we've been, now we're much closer friends. Like me and Ian have known each other a good, maybe kind of on and off for maybe like 20 years. I mean, maybe I would have been in my 20s or something like that. But, the last few years is where Fab has really brought us together. I didn't know Luke that well. Do I still know? I don't know if I know Luke that well at the moment, but I like Luke. And Wenway. We were in that tight. I've got used to him constantly touching me when he greets me before, before
what's with that?
He's a
I
hugger.
don't know. He's he's a hugger. He's a Bailey. He's the Bailey of our group. Clearly. Just wait till he goes heel.
No comment.
But there's so many people people like Regan Herbert. Like Regan's a good one. And just like community that's built up, like all these people, just like Kiki, for example, the Wellington mainstays, Kiki, Reese, the crowd from Dunedin, and just like I know so many people in Texas now. I never knew people in Texas before.
That's a big place.
Like, there's people that would offer me, to put me up and give me dinner and stuff like that. And it's been, I don't know, it's been huge, I think, last Christmas after we went through, the roughest COVID time, I remember on Christmas Day sending a bunch of people messages. I mean, I sent Kayla a message and Ian, but I sent a message to James just saying, thanks for being the captain, because it was a rough year with COVID and, we were very worried we could have been all out, it would be all over. But I said, thanks to James on Christmas Day. So, for being the captain of the ship and, being the captain we needed,
I mean, this is the crazy thing too. When you actually look back on it, while it's been 2 years since the world premiere, almost half of that we've been in COVID, in one way or another around the world, and so it is just. I can't wait to see what actually happens when we get a couple of good years with no COVID and actually and be able to travel and have worlds and stuff like that. It's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, because I think we've come through probably the hardest time possible for a game that's supposed to bring people together in the flesh and blood. But we've survived that, and hopefully we can get through Delta and move forward. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to Tales of Aria. Obviously, we're not going to do a spoiler here tonight, but Radio Reflex does have a spoiler next week.
I've got mine tomorrow.
There we go. Spoiler of a spoiler.
Wait, is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Question here: what's everyone's favorite card so far? This is a great one here. Why don't we
Tales of
start?
Aria?
Well,
I think just what your favorite card is overall, because well, maybe even your favorite hero, because one of the things about Fab is the baby. Yeah. Good the baby. Is we're attached to a lot of Fab. Kale is famous because of Bravo, or maybe Kale has been one of the people that have made Bravo famous. For example, We'll start with Luke. Start with Luke. Hero and maybe favorite card.
My favorite card is Red Cadaverous Contraband.
Ooh. Not Memorial Grounds Blue? Is it Memorial Grounds Blue? I thought that'd be your answer. Oh,
no.
All right.
No, Red Cadaverous Contraband. It's just so good. It's tough. If we had to run 150 card lists, that would definitely make every deck that I ever make. Unfortunately, we have to make 80 card lists so often it doesn't quite make the cut. But it's just so fun. There's so much that I want to do with it, and just the idea of putting your plunder run back on the top of the deck and drawing it and then arseling it again all in the same play. It's just so tasty, and just getting that Blood Rush Bellow back. The one time you get to do it, it feels pretty cool. So that's my favorite card.
Winway.
Consuming Volition.
Ooh.
I'm just the art guy. I really enjoy the art of it.
It's too scary for me, man.
Reminds me of my life.
Did you say wife or life? Because you're trading. I'm not sure which you said.
Answer to that question.
No comment. They're both the wrong answer.
All right, Kale.
Believe it or not, my favorite hero is actually Kano. Basically, it's the one class that I just keep throwing my deck against the wall, like literally. But in terms of favorite card, I have this weird thing about yellow disable. I just have to always play it. I think that card is good enough to be good, but it's just inefficient with everything else it's doing for a 5 cost or something.
It hits for 8?
Yeah. But you can play the red one that hits for 9, right? And then you get that break point or something. I just feel like that card just needed a little bit more and it would be really broken.
All right. Ian, you're on mute. You're on mute, Ian. Ian, you're on mute.
There we are.
All right, Ian.
So Kale, just before I go on, how many times have you bought and sold a Kano deck?
Probably 6 or 7. With me, I tend to not have a big collection of cards at a time. I've got kids and I don't have a lot of space. So if I'm playing a deck, I'll buy it, and then when I get off it, I'll sell it.
I remember one particular event that you listed it for sale before the event had finished. You were doing so badly with it.
Yeah.
I just about did that. I just about sold up at Nationals last year. Sam Smith was sitting there with his folder, and I just about said how much, because I just had the worst tournament I'd ever had. And I'm glad I didn't. Very glad I didn't. But it was a grim couple of games.
So
there was no world premiere.
For me, my favorite card is it's close because there is a new card. There is a new cycle of cards that are very close to my heart. But my favorite card of all time is still Demolition Crew Red from Welcome to Wraith. I love that card. It's so good in Brute. It's great in UPF. Coming a close second is Smash with a Big Tree from Monarch. Yellow and red. I recently actually killed a Kano player on turn 1 with KO with a smash with a big tree and a yellow Wreck-It Romp, doubling up both of them after rolling 2 actions on Scabskin Leathers.
So you rolled beautiful 4-5-5.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh,
it was
that's-
absolutely beautiful. Literally first turn kill. I had no null room. I had no null room because I had forgotten to bring any with me. So
Did you go
again,
1-5?
I already love Smash with the Big Tree, but it's now forever my second favorite card. How about you, Alan?
Nice. All right. Well, just saying, yeah, me and Ian have a lot of fond memories of Monarch because that was the set we had the most to do with, doing some draft testing back in the level 3, I think we were in.
Yeah.
But my favorite hero, of course, is just going to be Ira because she's the first to play with. She's my most precious card. My cold foil Ira in my collection is my most precious card. Yeah, she's his best. And also me and we didn't mention, but me and Ian, actually brought her to Constructed before anybody else did because we ran Pauper and we made Ira legal in Pauper, and this was we called it Pauper back then. I think we had the first Pauper tournaments before one of the first. Yeah, we made her legal. I think was there a Pauper event before us, but they didn't have Ira legal then.
I don't believe
it was
so.
there was Marnie's event, Jacob and Marnie's event that they did online for TTS.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Event.
But Ira wasn't legal in their event, so we made Ira legal when we ran our Pauper event, and ours was slightly different because Jacob did have one rule where you could play one Majestic card, all commons and one Majestic, and we decided just all Pauper. But I don't know, I think my favorite card of all time is just Scar for a Scar. Again, because it's in the Ira deck, it doesn't cost anything. I'm always behind, so it's always live whenever I'm playing a game. It was in my brute deck, but I'm always going to be behind. So Scar for a Scar is always online if it's in my deck.
Okay.
Basically, it's got permanent. If Alan plays this card, it has go again. Essentially, so
when I first picked up the Ira deck, it was like thumbing through the cards. How does this game work? Oh, Scar for Scar. Okay, this card is key. Like, I didn't know much about the game, but I knew that this card is very important in the matchup, right? When both players have 3 of them. It was interesting and fun to play with.
Yeah.
It's an awesome card.
I think I always used to say
yellow?
Scar man.
Yellow Scar. Yellow? Yes. People who play Benji.
Benji? Yellow Scar makes its way into Benji? Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. Other favorite card I'll just quickly mention because this is my one chance to mention it is Tear Limb from Limb. When we were testing it during the Monarch thing, I beat Chris
story.
with I beat Chris a combination of I think it was Pulping, Tear Limb from Limb, and Who's of the Shadow Beast to beat Chris. And I think Chris was like, man, if Alan can beat me with that card, we need to rein it in.
He also lost to me that day to because of Tear Limb from Limb. So Tear Limb from Limb is not how it was when we were testing it. It got a bit nerfed because basically it's sort of like it was said if Iain and Alan can beat the dev team, it's too powerful.
Yeah, maybe if we hadn't been if we hadn't been testing it, Ian, if like the proper devs have been testing it, maybe Tear from Limb would be in a whole different spot in the metagame, if not for us. So we.
Can you tell us what it used to do?
It was pretty similar, but I'm not sure if we should say any more about the process.
Right.
It was a cycle.
Discard condition.
It was a cycle. Let's just say it was a cycle. You could run more. It was a cycle of cards as well.
The yellow was triple and the red was quadruple.
I'm not saying. I don't think it was that busted, but we won't say anything more. But it was a cycle. So got a bit nerfed. Just putting it up to Majestic as well because me and Ian had a bad habit of drafting brute. We did these Monarch drafts because I was like, exactly. It was like, is there a hit with a giant tree, smash of a giant tree, red in the pack, done. Commit straight away, but which must have I know annoyed Jason Noe when we were doing those drafts, but good times.
I do like Tear Limb from them. I played it at Road to Nats, the last live one I was at. It was kind of okay. It didn't quite do what I needed it to do. But I'm going to play it in KO.
It's great in KO.
And I'm just going to kill people on turn 1.
That's amazing.
So I'm just going to 32 them on turn one. That's great.
That's cool. Bring back Blitz season. Looking
You
forward
play
to
it
Blitz
with
season again.
hard and cross straps, so you could then just pay for the pulpy with your chest piece. So good, so good.
Who's of a Shadow Beast? That card, I love that card as well. That was a big go-to card in drafting. All right. Anyone have any final words for the internet? Anybody want to add their final thoughts of Fab? I mean, I don't know if we go into what we want from Fab from the future. I can't really go into that because I may see too much or not enough. What is everybody else? What do you want to see Fab in 10 years' time? Let's try that.
Just wanted to keep growing, and I want to still be the world premier champion. And I'm confident that both those things will happen.
one day you'll suddenly come and you'll be like, why have I been edited out of the premiere photo? Why is somebody else in there? That's
when time travel finally happens.
Yeah, we'll do a deep fake. We'll do a deep fake with different people in the finals. No, I mean Luke was good enough then, but we need somebody more dynamic in that role.
Exactly. No, just I mean, as the sort of the final thoughts, just really to echo your sentiments about like using games as a mechanism to meet people. Like it's always the people that you remember and think about years from now. And like when I think about my friends and who I share my life with, it's people who I met through games. Like the guys that I co-designed with, we met playing Star Wars CCG, and best mates would play games with every week. I met him playing World of Warcraft, and so it's just an awesome mechanism for people who normally wouldn't spend time together or sit down across a table, and this gives you this common language. And for guys in particular, sometimes finding something to talk about can be a tricky. It's either you're drinking or there's nothing, so it's just a really good alternative to sit down, have a group of people, chat, meet new people, and then after a while you start traveling with some of these people, and then you realize, oh, this person might be my friend, and if we didn't play cards, I still like this person. And so it's just a really nice way to sort of to do that.
That's how I knew Carol was such a great bloke, because we shared a room and he didn't snore, and I was like, Carol, Session Blood, Carol, number one. Didn't wake me up, didn't snore. He's cool with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I have to share a bedroom with these kids? I think it was Carol and Kieran, because I think they top and tail.
It was Session Blood, yeah.
Yeah, they topped
weren't
and
spooning at the time.
Yeah, they could have been.
Yeah.
They could have been. But
Yeah, but it's that sort of it's always, and I think James really knew that. Like you can tell that from the way that James talks about the game and the community. He understands what a good game can do for people and their lives. And I've been a peripheral player, really. A lot of you guys have done way more than me and traveled more than me, but it's very easy to see how it's had such a massive impact already. And my hope is that I'll just keep doing that for for people, new generations coming forward, little young people around the world, but especially young Kiwi girls and guys who might be a bit shy or not quite know who to talk to, and now they've just got this common language. And I think we'll see a lot more of that. It's definitely the best thing about it. It just so happens that it's also a phenomenally great game, which is amazing, and that'll be, of course, the competitive success of it. But I think the legacy will be the friendships that it will last long after the game is retired in 100 years.
Well said.
What do you think, Cal?
Do you guys know who's?
I think Luke's just hit the nail on the head there, eh? But I think from the game sense, it'd just be good to see it keep growing. Pro Tour kickoff, the Worlds kickoff. Be good if 10 years or so down the track, there's like a Hall of Fame or something. But,
yes.
Just be good to
Hall of Fame. Here we go.
It'd just be good to be able to look back and be like, I was there from day one type thing. When I'm bloody old and trying to make my kids play or something.
Yeah. I do wonder what we're going to be like when we're in our 70s. Still trying to shuffle cards, arthritic hands, going, oh. In my day, the cards were real, printed on paper instead of this nanotechnology cards that we've got now.
Well, it didn't used to be. Back in my day, they weren't embedded into your brain. You had to play with them with bits of paper. There's going to be there's going to be retirement villages all over New Zealand with just like 85-man tournaments just every day.
Yeah, but they'll have to start. Real late, or do we start the events really early because we're at bed at 6 p.m. We'll be like, this event.
All events start at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
You've already been up for half an hour. You've worked out a bit of deck. You've replaced the colonoscopy bag, and you're into it. Colostomy bag.
Replace the bingo night for flesh and blood night.
Yeah, I look forward to us being aged and still playing some games.
Yeah.
Wenway, any last words besides about your mum?
No.
How is she, by the way?
No, she's doing better. She's all right. Just the other side of the family that's doing pretty bad in Vietnam at the moment. But yeah, Flesh and Blood though, pretty cool game. Helped pay all the medical bills, so that was quite impressive. But yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head there. Like, who knows? 10 years from now, we'll be Flesh and Blood millionaires.
Pretty close already. Yeah.
You might be. I've only got one card.
I mean, I might sell this weird Bayer card I've got in my folder for like 2 million.
Which card? Oh yeah. Yeah, the Be Eager Adventurers, at least a 10k card.
I
got one of those too.
Yeah, you have. I believe Simon also has one now. He traded for one, but that's right.
No,
I will do.
He co-owns mine now. He wanted in on it. Something he didn't get one. So.
Oh, that's right. I only have one copy. I only have one copy myself. If guys don't worry, I did do watching out there. There is a unofficial card of my daughter. I'm waiting for the new daughter for Evie to get to a year old, and then we'll do a Ranger card for her. So I'll do a slightly bigger print run for that one. So the Saw will get one. We'll get one next time.
You know who's
Simon to have a card of your daughter.
Yeah. She's. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Well, Aaron Newsom, right? He used to ask me every single day how much comes from Bayer, how much from Bayer, like we trade Bayer, we trade it. I want it. I was like, oh, go away!
No.
Stop annoying me. Annoy Jesse.
Well, I've given one to everyone who got one got given one from me, and the only one that's kind of outside the New Zealand community is the one that I gave to the Cancer Foundation run.
For the auction scale.
Yeah, so and that went pretty well. That went above my expectations. That was pretty cool because I was thinking, we could get like a play mat or something like that, and I was like, play mat. What can I do that's unique? So I'm glad the card found a very cool owner over in Canada, and helped add to the fund for you, Cal.
Mate, that whole charity thing was just mind blowing. Like we were hoping to make maybe like $5,000.
Incredible, right? And just 10 times that as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, like just every time we looked at it, just went up.
Yeah. No, it was everyone was on board.
Yeah, I was really happy to be part of that as well. Like, super happy that we made so much money off that.
Yeah, it was about time I had a good drunk idea.
Yeah, that's how I'm putting up my baby, right?
Yeah, but glad that Matt took that and ran it, and it just went so. Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, it makes us feel like such a special community that we can do that, because I think, as you mentioned, it just probably wouldn't have happened anywhere else. So thankful for all the people that have brought into Flesh and Blood and everything they've brought to Flesh and Blood. The players have brought something, and the community is great.
Obviously, shout out to Nick Butcher as well for helping with the event as well. He did really well work for that too.
Yeah, he did a lot of work behind the scenes on that. Pretty big effort.
Yeah. So, thanks to Matt. Well, Cal, yourself, Matt, Nick. I think we'll remember it for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's one thing that's definitely going to help the community moving forward, right? Because everyone, no matter what type of walk of life they come from, they're going to know someone that goes through it. To know that people can come together when the world's falling to shit. Something that we can all share together. So it actually means something.
Definitely,
Yeah,
it definitely does. All right, cool, guys. We'll just hit the hour and almost 5-minute mark. So we'll probably wrap it up here. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on board. And we did ramble a bit, but I think we did share a few memories of the actual event.
And
yeah.
so with 2 years down, tomorrow we head towards the future, and it is spoiler season. Wenway, you said you've got a spoiler coming out tomorrow. Is that correct?
4 p.m. New Zealand time. We'll be up.
Excellent.
All right.
And of course, Radio Reflex, we have our spoiler coming out next Monday. Alan and I will be back next Monday evening to spoil a card then. We're looking forward to it. And again, thanks to everyone who's joined us on the stream, who've jumped in to watch and shared their their love of the game for the first 2 years. And moving forward, we hope for just bigger and better things.
Yeah, and hopefully we will be back on a more regular basis now, Ian, as well. Because we always do more work in lockdown. We always put more of it in when we were in lockdown. That's where we went to weekly. That's where we went to weekly in the first lockdown. We were fortnightly before that.
That is correct.
So yeah, exactly.
So,
come out of lockdown.
Yeah. Again, as always, people, stay safe. Play some great games, and remember, wash your damn hands.
We'll see you in Vegas.
Yeah. All right. Thanks all.